If you want eye-catching arms, it's crucial to have a balance between a great peak along with wide biceps, creating a fully sculpted look. In this video, we are going to go over 3 key exercises to boost your bicep width and discuss exactly how you can incorporate them into your workout routine. Now, before we jump into the 3 exercises, let's quickly go over how our biceps are made up so we better understand why they're effective. Your biceps are made up of 2 heads. You have the short head, which is on the inner part of the arm, and the long head, which is on the outer part. Now, we also have another muscle in the upper arm which is often overlooked, which is the brachialis. This muscle is the key to wider looking arms as it's located on the outer part of the arm, and it also pushes the biceps up, making them appear bigger. Therefore, when this is properly developed, it will not only give you wider looking arms, but sculpted arms in general. So the 3 exercises that we're going to cover in today's video will directly stimulate growth in your brachialis. And now that we understand how our arms are made up, let's jump into exercise number 1, which is going to be Zottman curls. Zottman curls are my favorite arm exercise as they work all 3 elbow flexors at the same time. There is no equipment needed to perform this exercise, and they significantly increase your brachialis size. Plus, by moving your wrist during the exercise, it efficiently works and grows your forearms, which is another added bonus. Now, how do we properly perform it? Start by initially curling the weight up just as you would for a normal bicep curl. At the top of the exercise, turn your wrist so your palms face downward. Then lower the weight while maintaining that wrist position, and then curl the weight back up. Then turn your palms up towards the ceiling and repeat this sequence, always changing the wrist position at the top of each curl. When your palms are face down, you'll primarily train the brachialis and the brachioradialis in the forearm, and when your palms are up, you'll primarily train your biceps. And this is going to lead to equal growth in all 3 muscles. And as for training volume, we're going to aim for 4 sets of 12 reps. This is the ideal training volume for muscle growth and is ultimately going to give you the best results. And that wraps up exercise number 1. Now let's jump to exercise number 2, which is going to be narrow grip pull-ups. Pull-ups and chin-ups are an amazing exercise for your back and biceps, but when you incorporate a narrow grip, it becomes a phenomenal exercise for your brachialis. This exercise allows you to overload your arms more than any other exercise, since you'll be moving your entire body weight. This huge increase in load will not only increase your muscle size, but also improve your overall strength, which translates to other exercises as well. Now, the first thing that we need to do is make sure our grip is correct. I like to place my hand about 2 inches apart from each other and take an overhand grip. Then instead of trying to drive your elbows back like you normally would on a pull-up, think of trying to perform a curling motion. This will lead to more brachialis activation in the long run. It's also very important to focus on controlling the lowering phase of the exercise, as this is where the majority of the muscle growth will come from. And since this exercise can be pretty difficult, let's go over a quick variation that you can perform initially. And that variation is going to be performing it on a pull-up assist machine. This will allow you to decrease the amount of load that you actually need to move and allow you to work up to complete a full body weight repetition. And because this is a harder exercise, I like to perform 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. And when you control each rep, this will really light up your brachialis. And that wraps up exercise number 2. Now let's jump to the third and final exercise of this video, which is going to be cross-body hammer curls. This is a variation of the traditional hammer curl, but it further reduces the involvement of the biceps. Hammer curls are still a great way to grow the brachialis, but if you do not fully maintain a neutral wrist position, the biceps will dominate this exercise, which limits the amount of load that the brachialis will actually perform. And this is a very common compensation that we tend to see when people fatigue, along with ego lifting, but I'm not going to go on a tangent in this video, I promise.
Oh, you stop that right now!
Instead, if you cross your body when performing the hammer curl, this will keep the wrist in a neutral position and really take the biceps out the equation. Now, the first and most important thing we want to do even before we start the exercise is to make sure we're in a neutral wrist position. And an easy way you can tell you're in a neutral position is if you extend your thumb and you actually give a thumbs up, then you're in the right position. Then instead of doing the normal hammer curl, you actually want to cross your body. And a good visual cue is to aim for your opposite chest. And when you make this small difference, it'll make a huge change in the overall activation that you feel in your brachialis. And once again, with this exercise, we want to aim for 4 sets of 12 reps, really controlling the movement throughout the entire exercise. And if you incorporate all 3 of these exercises that I covered in today's video, I promise you, you're going to see substantial improvements in your brachialis size, and ultimately you'll have a wider looking arm. And the next thing you need to do is make sure you have well-developed triceps. And that's exactly what I cover in this video here, so check it out now.